individual who plans or executes an act of targeted violence. Investigators must consider potential targets when seeking no-door attacks, as suspects routinely explore multiple targets during the planning process before making their final selection. The U.S. Secret Service National Threat Assessment Center took a deep dive into a series of red flags predating a shooting at a yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida, to determine how early intervention could save lives in the future. The NTAC routinely publishes research based on an assessment of the current threat environment. In the case of 40-year-old gunman Scott Paul Burrell, there were countless warning signs. The man who opened fire inside hot yoga Tallahassee, killing 2 women and injuring 4 more before committing suicide, had previously been fired from multiple teaching jobs, barred from bars and apartment buildings, and authored a 70,000 word revenge fantasy about a boy turned serial killer. Jesus. According to the report, during his teen years, the attacker was accused of stalking his classmates. He wrote stories that centered around violent themes, said Steve Driscoll, lead research specialist at NTAC, in a briefing with reporters on Thursday. One of those stories was 81 pages long and involved the protagonist murdering several girls before committing suicide. The female characters in the story that were killed represented the attacker's actual classmates from his high school, but he slightly changed the names in his writing. He was arrested 3 times for incidents of groping women in public. His roommates called him Ted Bundy. Those social media users often refer to him as Nazi. His parents reported sleeping with their door locked and removing him from his niece's birthday party after he touched young girls. Man, this dude's trash already. On the day of the shooting, Burrell uploaded a self-reading song entitled Fuck 'Em All, describing his frustration with personal flares to a public music sharing website online. Before departing for yoga studio, he left behind a note reading in part, "If I can't find one decent female to live with, I will find many indecent females to die with." First of all, women. According to the U.S. Secret Service's analysis, Burrell was motivated to carry out violence by his inability to develop or maintain relationships with women. Although the origins of anti-feminist and incel movements vary, the shooter's final crime in 2018 is part of a string of gender-based ideology-driven attacks calling for violence against women. The reporter who investigated other recent incidents of violence linked to misogynistic extremism in July of 2020, Roy Den Hollander, a self-described anti-feminist lawyer and fervent men's rights advocate, killed the son of U.S. District Court Judge Esther Salas, motivated by beliefs that manhood is in serious jeopardy in America. And dossiers later found by law enforcement, the 72-year-old called for a revolution. Salas told CBS News 60 Minutes correspondent Bill Whitaker that the FBI determined her son's attackers had been stalking her family. He knew obviously where I live. He knew obviously where I lived. He knew my routes to work. He knew the church we attended. He had Daniel's school. He knew baseball games. Just a complete workup on me and my family. Salas said in an interview last year. Here it has a picture of Daniel Markandary, and U.S. District Attorney, U.S. District Court Judge Esther Salas. Apologies. Man, dude seems like a pretty cool guy. Rest in peace and condolences out to his family. The FBI also told sellers that the wounds sustained by Daniel appeared to indicate he was trying to block Hollander from getting to her. That same year saw a handful of incidents linked to incel terrorism, a shooting at an Arizona mall targeting couples, a machete attack at a Toronto massage parlor, and a 22-year-old Virginia man who blew his hand off while tinkering with a bomb that federal authorities believe was meant to target a cheerleading performance. In the case of the 2014 Isla Vista killings, 22-year-old Elliot Roger killed 6 people and injured 14 others in a shooting, stabbing, and vehicle ramming spree near the campus of the University of California, Santa Barbara. 3 women were shot outside of a sorority house. Before executing his deadly attack, Roger bemoaned not being able to find a girlfriend on social media, documenting his hatred for women and interracial couples and plain retribution. A 2018 van attack in Toronto left 10 people dead and 16 injured, the deadliest incident linked to the incel movement. Witnesses saw 20-year-old Alec Minassian plow onto pedestrians ranging from 22 to 94 years old minutes after posting on Facebook. The incel rebellion has already begun. The attacker, convicted on 10 counts of first-degree murder and 13 counts of attempted murder, had a history of praising Elliot Roger online. While the Secret Service may be known for its protection of presidents past and present, the agency has long studied and implemented behavior threat assessment programs designed to identify potentially dangerous or violent situations that do not meet criminal thresholds. Tuesday's report is intended to identify early warning signs of misogynistic extremism with the goal of early intervention. Traditionally, law enforcement and other public safety officials focus on crimes. Dr. Lena Aladari, director of NTAC, said. And so, if there's no direct threat or criminal statute violated, they often feel they can't do anything. But what we know from the research and what we know from communities doing this successfully is that if you have a trained professional in threat assessment and identifying warning signs and knowing what the proper resources are available, that's when you have success stories. Behavior threat assessment programs can be developed in any environment: workplaces, college campuses, state and local police, according to the U.S. Secret Service. Sorry about that. My computer ran out. Let's see. Okay, yes. Recent success stories include comprehensive initiatives developed out of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation in Pinellas County, Florida. It's a growing field, Driscoll said. There's more work to be done, but there are success stories and there are programs being implemented specifically to identify and assess and intervene with individuals like this one. He added, referencing Bureau, NTAC trained over 26,000 individuals in 2021 with the goal of expanding even further in a year ahead. According to Aladari, participation in trainings have increased by 400% within the last 4 years. So that was that from that topic from CBS News. What a mouthful. But yeah, man, it's like, I do remember that guy Elliot Rogers, him doing all that bullshit. Like I thought the guy looked pretty alright. I'm not sure if it's just my eyes, but he wasn't ugly or anything. He probably just had like a speech problem or something. I'm not trying to like justify what he done. What he did was shitty, and yeah, he definitely deserved first for that, for taking the lives of those innocent people. But yeah, it's like maybe it was different for him. I have no idea. Um, I think there was like a little note that he written too. I forgot what it said, but yeah, man, dude was a piece of shit. And so are the other ones that cause people harm too. The incel movement, and no, it's not cool to name yourselves that, incels. It's like calling someone a racist. It's a it's a disgusting term for disgusting people and hateful people. You should never be proud of that. I'm just saying it right here. Never be proud of something like that, man. Like people like that, like they have a lot of work to be done on them, and the only thing they can do for that is themselves. They need to change within themselves. They need to they need to absolutely think before they act and before they speak to someone. Of course, these guys might be getting therapy, but if they do have therapy, I'm pretty sure it's not doing a damn thing if they're still like this. So that's why I say like the real problem is within themselves. The real issues are within themselves, and they need to write what they are doing wrong. They need to write how can they fix this type of behavior. They need to pay more attention to hints and clues, and the way they speak to people. Because yeah, I've been there. I think like I've never really gotten mad at anyone. If I got rejected, especially like during high school too. Of course, I probably like I told like a few girls that I liked them and stuff like that, but they rejected me. Like, did I curse them out? No. Did I try to manipulate them? No. I was sad, and I like stayed in my room to myself for the most day. But like after a few days, I get over it. I move on. Stay easy, man. Like some people, like you have to accept the fact that you're not for some people, and that your people are waiting for you. People who really like you, they are out there. But until then, I've asked people like that to never date. At least not until they fix themselves or they figure out why they're causing people harm. And just flat out disrespecting people just because they got rejected. It's like, you ain't got to do all that, man. That's just those are my thoughts on that. Like right now, man, it's like I'm not really even trying to find anyone right now because I know that I still have some work to be done on myself. Like I'm in the mind space where, I won't be able to provide for that person. I won't be able to commit whatever time I have whatever time I have, with that person. So